Fasting 16 hours every day may be one reason your metabolism feels persistently stalled. You are exhausted, starving, and wasting hours tracking calories just to stay stuck. But what happens inside your body when you shift the timeline? Here's what most people miss. Daily fasting feels like the ultimate weight loss protocol, but for some people, it can gradually lower their resting metabolic rate. You are not failing. Your body is adapting to protect you. Most individuals who hit a stubborn plateau immediately blame themselves. They assume they are simply eating too much food. They restrict their calories even further. The real enemy has nothing to do with a lack of willpower or flawed DNA. The actual problem is a survival mechanism known as adaptive thermogenesis. That does not mean your body is broken. It means your biology is trying to keep you alive. When you repeat the exact same fasting window day after day, your biology perceives this as a prolonged famine. It dims the factory lights. It lowers your daily energy expenditure to match the deficit. When you stop eating, your internal clock begins ticking toward a series of profound hormonal shifts. As you cross the 12-hour mark, your physiology enters a neutral zone. Your digestive system has finished processing your last meal. Your bloodstream is finally clearing out the residual blood sugar. But that's not the main effect yet. Hunger is not always an emergency. Sometimes it is just a signal that your body is changing fuel sources. During the 12 to 16-hour window, your body requires energy to keep your brain functioning. But it does not immediately reach for your body fat. Instead, it drains the stored glycogen reserves located inside your liver. In plain terms, glycogen is your body's pocket cash. Deep body fat is the locked vault in the basement. At 12 hours, you have not touched the vault yet. You are just emptying the wallet. You are not burning significant amounts of body fat. You are merely clearing the biological runway. Around the 16-hour mark, your body often begins running low on easy energy. The liver glycogen is depleted, forcing your biology to look for a secondary fuel source. This is the moment most people celebrate, assuming they are finally burning body fat. But for some people, daily 16-hour fasting is where the metabolism begins to adapt. If you repeat this exact 16-hour window every single day, your body begins to track the pattern. It notices that food is consistently restricted for a significant portion of the day. To protect your survival, it initiates a subtle physiological downgrade. It lowers your core temperature, reduces your non-exercise activity thermogenesis, and can slightly slow down your resting metabolic rate. Your body acts like a smart thermostat. If it knows less heat is coming in, it simply turns down the baseline temperature to save power. Fat loss can slow down. Your body becomes highly efficient at surviving on less. Practically, what you will notice is feeling colder than usual in the afternoons, or experiencing a lingering sense of fatigue that excessive coffee cannot fix. This is your biology actively conserving energy to match the routine deficit. The daily 16-hour fast stops feeling like a meaningful stressor. It can become a slower metabolic baseline. To break this plateau, the timeline must occasionally stretch beyond the expected routine. Now watch what changes next. This is where most people accidentally sabotage the whole fast without realizing it. As you cross into the 20 to 24-hour block, a completely different set of metabolic levers gets pulled. The most critical shift involves two counter-regulatory hormones. These are insulin and glucagon. Insulin is the gatekeeper. Glucagon is the messenger that tells the vault to open. By around hour 20, your insulin levels often fall closer to baseline. Insulin functions as a one-way valve in the human body. When insulin is high in the bloodstream, nutrients can enter the fat cells, but stored energy cannot easily exit. As that valve begins to open, the body relies more heavily on glucagon. Glucagon is the chemical messenger that travels directly to your deep fat stores. It orders the release of free fatty acids into the bloodstream for immediate use. Practically, what you will notice is a distinct drop in hunger. The sharp cravings you felt around hour 16 often begin fading by hour 22. This can happen because your body is no longer relying only on external food. It has actively bypassed the wallet and opened the locked vault. During this 20 to 24-hour block, your liver takes those released fatty acids and converts them into ketones. Ketones are water-soluble molecules that easily cross the blood-brain barrier. Your brain begins shifting from relying mainly on glucose to using an alternative, efficient fuel. This often brings a noticeable increase in mental clarity. Keep that in mind. We will use it in a minute. If you have ever felt your hunger suddenly disappear during a longer fast, comment 1. But to sustain this state safely, you must manage your internal environment. As insulin drops, your kidneys excrete sodium at an accelerated rate. This rapid loss of sodium drags water out alongside it. This fundamentally alters your electrolyte balance. Many people misinterpret this sudden fluid loss as rapid fat burning. They feel lightheaded, assume it is working, and push harder. That's a critical mistake. In many cases, that lightheadedness is more related to an electrolyte deficit than to accelerated fat loss. But here is the trap. If you ignore electrolytes, you can mistake weakness for fat loss and push yourself into a problem. If you choose to extend the timeline toward the 24 to 36-hour mark, you may enter a deeper biological maintenance phase where the focus shifts towards cellular repair as mTOR activity tends to dial down and AMPK activity can rise. In plain terms, this shift can support a process called autophagy, which research suggests may become more active between 24 and 36 hours of continuous fasting, and it works like an internal recycling and repair crew finally getting room to work. When the body realizes no new building blocks are arriving, it sends out scavengers. They identify damaged proteins and metabolic waste, breaking them down to build new, optimized structures. As you push deeper into this 36-hour window, your physiology initiates another protective mechanism. You might assume your metabolism would slow down completely after a day without food. Some evidence suggests the opposite can occur in certain contexts. The body can respond to a prolonged fast by increasing noradrenaline secretion. And this explains the strange part. This is the moment many people misunderstand. They think the body is betraying them, when it may actually be protecting them. Noradrenaline is a neurotransmitter that can help keep your energy output and alertness from dropping too sharply. If our ancestors were without food for a full day, becoming sluggish would increase the risk of starvation. The biological response was to increase physical output and focus to secure the next meal. Now it makes sense. Some people stop feeling lethargic and instead feel unexpectedly energized. Your body is not collapsing here. It is becoming more strategic. For some people using fasting to break a severe metabolic plateau, the 36 to 48-hour window may offer a deeper biological reset. Within this time frame, the reliance on stored body fat can become much more pronounced. Your glycogen reserves are likely very low by this point. Your insulin often remains relatively low. During this deeper fasting phase, studies suggest that human growth hormone secretion can increase significantly. The primary role of elevated growth hormone during a fast is not to build massive muscle mass. It is to help preserve lean tissue. Human growth hormone acts like a biochemical bodyguard here, standing between your lean tissue and unnecessary breakdown. Your body may rely more heavily on adipose tissue for fuel during this phase, while circulating growth hormone helps protect against excessive muscle breakdown. By maintaining lower insulin levels for over a day and a half, you may give your insulin receptors a chance to improve their sensitivity. When you finally reintroduce food, the body may require less insulin to shuttle glucose into the cells. This shift away from insulin resistance may help break a long-term plateau. It helps repair the hormonal signaling that contributed to fat storage in the first place. The timeline, however, does not end when you put food back into your mouth. This is where the switch flips. This is the emotional turning point. Your body is no longer just surviving the fast. It is learning how to rebuild after it. The period immediately following a prolonged fast is the most sensitive variable in the entire framework. Breaking a fast poorly can reduce many of the metabolic benefits you just spent days building. When your cells have been deprived of nutrients for 36 hours, they become incredibly receptive. Your metabolism is a bone-dry sponge. If you pour a large amount of processed carbohydrates onto it, it will soak them up instantly and trap the water. Consuming high-sugar or highly processed foods after a fast can trigger a sharp metabolic rebound. This insulin spike during the refeed can quickly slow fat burning. It can shuttle a larger share of incoming energy towards storage. This is where many fasting protocols fail. People treat the end of a fast as a psychological reward. They overconsume the exact foods that drive insulin resistance. To utilize this timeline without triggering adaptive thermogenesis, you must introduce metabolic variation. You cannot simply fast for 16 hours every single day and expect endless physiological progress. You have to actively vary the stressor to keep the metabolism responsive. A practical application involves mixing baseline days with strategic, longer fasting blocks throughout the month. For example, you might maintain a modest 12-hour overnight fast for 5 days of the week. This signals to your body that food is abundant. Then, once a week, you introduce a 24 or 36-hour fasting window. Because the fasting window is irregular, the metabolism may be less likely to adapt and slow down in the same way. You may support a hormonal reset, cellular recycling, and deeper fat oxidation without pushing your resting metabolic rate to downgrade in the same way. You are actively managing your internal signaling to match the dynamic environment your physiology was designed for. Here's the simple way to apply this. Adaptive thermogenesis is the cautious energy minister. Autophagy is the repair crew. Human growth hormone is the tissue protector. Do this. Use 12-hour baseline days for 5 days, then add one 24 to 36-hour fast occasionally to prevent adaptation. Keep adequate sodium to maintain electrolyte balance during longer phases, and break prolonged fasts gently with lean protein and healthy fats. Avoid this. Do not stick to a rigid 16-hour daily schedule if you are stuck in a plateau. Do not break a fast with processed sugars, which can cause a high-risk insulin spike during the refeed. And do not push past 24 hours if you feel genuinely ill rather than normally hungry. If you have diabetes, a history of eating disorders, are pregnant, or take glucose-lowering medication, do not attempt extended fasting without medical supervision. If you only remember one thing, your metabolism acts like a smart thermostat, adapting to whatever routine you give it daily. To keep it responsive, your fasting schedule must remain unpredictable. Your metabolism is not broken, it is responsive. And once you understand that, you stop fighting your biology and start working with it. If your body has felt stuck, comment 1. If your routine has felt too rigid, comment 2. If you want more breakdowns like this, stay with this channel. Subscribe if you want the next breakdown on how to break a fast without triggering a hard insulin rebound.